Hello again. My name is Chris Prophy, and today I am going to give some love to one of my favorite singer-songwriters. Her name is Janis Ian, and most people know her only for the song At 17, but she has so much great music. And I'm gonna take you through my CD collection, and I'm warning you, I've got a lot of her CDs. Because for me, when I really get into somebody, I need to have like everything they released. I'm pretty sure I have everything, but I'm not 100% sure. So let me walk you through. I'll talk to you a little bit about Janis Ian. I want to say too, I actually got a chance to see her play live. A little venue that I saw her in. There were maybe 40 people there. I was one of them. It was just Janis and her guitar, and it was one of the best concerts I'd ever seen. All right, so first off, her first albums are collected on this collection called Society's Child, the Verve recordings, because her albums came out, of course, on the Verve label. Her first album, Janis Ian, of course, includes her huge hit, Society's Child. She was in her teens when she wrote that song. I also love Too Old to Go Away, Little Girl, and Hair of Spun Gold. Hair of Spun Gold is a folk masterpiece. This also includes the album For All the Seasons of Your Mind. The title track is awesome on that album. It also includes The Secret Life of J. Eddie Fink, and the album Who Really Cares. So this is her first 4 albums on one collection. Off of The Secret Life of J. Eddie Fink, I'd probably say I love the song Friends Again and 42nd Street Psycho Blues. And off of Who Really Cares, the song Time on My Hands is great. So her first 4 albums, again, she was in her teens. I don't think she fully found her voice yet. Her songwriting was definitely there. Her guitar playing was there. But I don't feel like she found the true Janis Ian sound yet. But still great albums. After those albums, you had an album come out called Present Company, which is getting closer to that Janis Ian sound that we all know and love. This has some great tunes on it too. Present Company is great. See My Grammy Ride. He's a Rainbow. Not her strongest album, but still a really good album. Again, her first 4 albums and this album, still finding her sound, still finding her voice. I remember reading an interview with Janis Ian, and she said it took her a while to really find the best way to sing, the best way to have the song suit her voice. So, some experimental type albums for her, but still really good ones. Now, we start getting into some classics. Stars. The song Stars, so many people have covered that song. It's just such a great song. What else is on here? Thank Yous is great. Dance With Me. Oh my gosh, the classic Jessie. Jessie is such a great song. Joan Baez did a great version of that. Her version is probably more well-known than Janis Ian's. But this is the song Applause. This is such a great album. Stars. Oh my gosh, this one. This is if we're going to say quintessential Janis Ian albums, her first album with Society's Child and Between the Lines. This was actually the first, well, no. My mom had the first Janis Ian album with Society's Child on it, and I remember her playing that song, and that song just got me right from the beginning. It grabbed a hold of me and said, you will be a Janis Ian fan. And I am, and still am. But this was the first album that I actually heard all the way through. This is a classic. When the Party's Over, At 17. From Me to You, Bright Lights and Promises, In the Winter, which is a top 5 Janis Ian song for me. If you have not heard the song In the Winter, Shame on You, go and listen to that song. Watercolors, Between the Lines, Light a Light. I believe that Joan Baez covered that song as well. Tea and Sympathy. Basically, I'm saying like every song on this album, because this album, classic, 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 classic. Songwriting is there. She found her voice by this album. It's just, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Next up, Aftertones, another great album. I have this on vinyl as well. I Would Like to Dance. Love is Blind, which was a huge hit for her in Japan. Not so much in the States, but that song, Love is Blind, was huge in Japan. Boy, I Really Tied One On. And the last song, Hymn. Another great album. Miracle Row. Party Lights. I love that. This album, I like the second side a lot more. Let Me Be Lonely, Slow Dance Romance, Will You Dance, I'll Cry Tonight. I love the song Miracle Row and Maria. So for me, the second side of this album is great. There she is, hanging out, rooftop, 70s, classic Janis Ian. Now, this one is interesting. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. A live album from Japan, actually signed by Janis Ian. This is called Remember. And this is, not the original, obviously, not the original 70s album. This is a newer pressing of this. But great, great album. She does all of her hits on here in front of a welcoming Japanese audience. You know, she does Jessie on here. She does In the Winter. She does Love is Blind. At 17, I Would Like to Dance, everything. This is just a great album. And again, signed by Janis Ian. Next up, the album called Janis Ian, actually, self-titled. I don't pull this one out as much, but some songs that I remember, I like Hotels and One Night Stands. I like Silly Habits. That's a jazzy type tune. I like I Need to Live Alone Again. So, another good album. Night Rains. Love the production on this album. It's got definitely, a late 70s, sort of that transition that a lot of the singer-songwriters were doing, moving more away from the acoustic guitar into more pop arrangements. This is a very good album. The Other Side of the Sun, Fly Too High, which was from the motion picture Foxes. Night Rains, Here Comes the Night. I also like Jenny, and that's, I didn't realize that. That's a duet with Chick Corea. So Night Rains, really good album. Now this, the Encore Collection. This was a live show at the Bottom Line from 1980. So again, a live album. She does At 17, she does Stars, she does In the Winter, she does some of the, she does Night Rains, Silly Habits. So, a neat live album from 1980 to listen to. All right, that brings us to Restless Eyes. This is another good song. This is this kind of goes along with Night Rains. It's that transitional moving from that acoustic guitar into more of a pop sensibility, but still like holding on to that folk sensibility as well. I love Under the Covers. I love I Believe in Myself Again. Restless Eyes is a great song. Get Ready to Roll, Passion Play, Sugar Mountain. A little bluegrass vibe to that song. This is another great CD. Restless Eyes. Now, a very strange album in the Janis Ian canon. Yeah, this is a weird one. Uncle Wonderful. I mean, look at that cover. It's Janis Ian trying to be Pat Benatar. Now, I like Pat Benatar and I love Janis Ian, but the two of them don't work. This is an interesting album. It's got a lot of keyboard. It's keyboard driven. It's definitely dated with its production. This came out in '85, it looks like. I believe the song Uncle Wonderful, it's like this poppy type keyboard driven song, but I think it's about like an uncle molesting a child. I think it's just the strangest thing. I do like the song Heart Skip Too Many Beats and possibly Sniper of the Heart. This album I haven't really gotten into much. Again, I love Janis Ian, but this album, I don't know, maybe I have to pop it in again. It's definitely dated with the production, and some of the subject matter is a little strange, but it's got to go in the collection, though. All right, now, she kind of made a comeback with this album, Breaking Silence. This album came out in '92, and she kind of brought back more of that folk vibe. Really good songs on here. Ride Me Like a Wave, Tattoo, Guess You Have to Be There. This Train Still Runs, Through the Years, classic song. Some People's Lives, which Bette Midler covered. And Breaking Silence, which is another heavy topic about abuse. Whew. I'm out of breath. Janis Ian's subject matters are very deep a lot of times. Not all of them. But when you put on a Janis Ian album, like you are in for a trip. And if you're not feeling good about yourself, or if you're a little depressed, probably not the best idea to be throwing on the Janis Ian album, if you know what I mean. But I love her. I love her, love her, love her. Revenge. This is an album that I do not listen to that often, but I love the song Take No Prisoners. I like the song No One Else Like You. I like Take Me Walking in the Rain, Stolen Fire, and When Angels Cry. So actually, I guess I should probably listen to this album more, since I'm like naming all these songs I like on it. But another good album. Janis Ian, Hunger. Cute photo of her as a child. This is a good album too. This album came out in '97. So I think by '97, Janis Ian was off of a lot of people's radars. The people who listened to her back in the day maybe had moved on or not followed her career. The younger kids that were around didn't really know who Janis Ian was. But this has some great songs on it. On the Dark Side of Town, Might As Well Be Monday, Getting Over You, which was a great ballad. Welcome to Acousticville. That's got a great solo and it shows you her guitar work. House Without a Heart, and she's also got a different version of Getting Over You as well. This is a good later album. Now, I told you at 17, or not at 17, read between the lines, quintessential Janis Ian. Boom, God in the FBI. Also, quintessential Janis Ian. This album from beginning to end is classic. I mean, this came out in 2000 on the Windham Hill label. Every song, killer. God in the FBI, which is actually a true story about how the FBI was trying to do some research on her family. On the other side, Memphis, which is a duet with Willie Nelson. Jolene, When You Love Someone, Play Like a Girl, Days Like These, Boots Like Emmylou's. Great, great song. Upbeat, love it. She Must Be Beautiful. Oh my God, that song. That should be like, everybody should cover that song. It is a classic tearjerker, such a well-written song. Man, She Must Be Beautiful. I gotta listen to that again. The Last Comeback and Murder in Stravinsky. If you have not heard this album, shame on you. Janis Ian, this album, man, classic. Next, I've got some interesting stuff. I've got Janis Ian Unreleased 1, signed by Janis Ian. Ooh, sorry. I've got Janis Ian Unreleased 2, Take No Prisoners, and Janis Ian Unreleased 3, Society's Child. This is also signed to Chris from Janis Ian. I feel the love. These are just, not just, but these are collections of obviously unreleased songs. Early takes, some stuff that didn't appear on albums, different mixes. Cool to have in the collection. Now, Janis Ian, Lost Cuts 1. What does this have on it? This came out in 2002. Oh, yes. The song Heart of a City. Which I believe is about 9/11. That song, it's a shame because it's a crime, actually. Not a lot of people know about that song, and not a lot of Janis Ian fans know about that song. You've got to listen to the song Heart of a City. I don't know if it's on Spotify. It probably is, but man, you've got to listen to that song. It is great. Billy's Bones. Look at that cover. This album is another one. I'm going to put this with God and the FBI. And I might even go as far to say that you got to put this with Read Between the Lines as well. This album, when did this come out? 2003 on Rude Girl Records. Billy's Bones, My Tennessee Hills, which is a duet with Dolly Parton. Paris in Your Eyes. That song, man. Listen to the lyrics of that tune. Marching on Glasgow, which is an instrumental, shows you her guitar work. I Hear You Sing Again, which is about how she remembers her mother who passed away, who used to sing to her. Beautiful song. Forever Young, Matthew, Amsterdam. Oh my goodness. Light a Candle, put Amsterdam on. That's such a great song. Dead Men Walking, Save Somebody, Mockingbird, Mary's Eyes, When I Lay Down. This whole album, classic Janis Ian. So I'm thinking, if you only know At 17, please listen to God and the FBI. Please listen to Billy's Bones. Please listen to the whole album, Read Between the Lines. Listen to her first album with Society's Child on it. Just classic stuff. Working Without a Net, a double live album. Another great album. What I like about this album, and I think it actually says it in the liner notes, maybe it doesn't, maybe I'm making this up, I have no idea. I believe that there are no overdubs on this album. I think it's purely live, mistakes and everything. Pitchy vocals, but it just goes to show you how great of a performer Janis Ian is. Her guitar work, her vocals. She's such an honest performer. And this album proves it. Like I said, I believe there are no overdubs on this album. It's just whatever was recorded is put on here. She did take from different concerts and compiled this album, but these are all just first takes. Whew, I told you this was going to be a long video. Lots of Janis Ian. Folk is the New Black. 2005. I like this album, not as much as Billy's Bones and God and the FBI, but this has some great stuff on it. As you can tell from the title, Folk is the New Black. Mostly her and her guitar on this album. I like Life is Never Wrong. I like The Great Divide. I like All Those Promises. Standing in the Shadows of Love. Crocodile Song is a funny song. My Autobiography is a funny song. Great tune. Shadows on the Wind. Joy. And the last song, Folk is the New Black. You know, thinking about this album, there's some humor on this album. Folk is the New Black, Crocodile Song, My Autobiography. So some lighter themes, which is nice to hear on a Janis Ian album. Good stuff. Now, a few more here. This is a collection that it's called ThatSeventeen. This came out in 1990. It's a CBS Special Products CD. It's called ThatSeventeen. I got it signed at the concert by her. And I remember bringing this up to her, and she said, "You got to hold on to this CD. This is rare. There's not a lot of these out there." So that was pretty cool for her to say, and she signed it. It's a collection. You've got Fly Too High, That Grand Illusion, The Other Side of the Sun, At 17, When the Party's Over. Under the Covers, Here Comes the Night, I Want to Make You Love Me, Jessie, and Sugar Mountain. So kind of a neat collection. I like how, she told me it was rare to hold on to it, and I also like that she signed it for me. Thank you, Janis. I also have the Best of Janis Ian and Autobiography Collection. So again, some Janis Ian classics compiled into one collection. This looks like it's got some bonus tracks too. It's got an early version of Hair of Spun Gold, I Long for You, Ginny the Flying Girl, Johnny I Hardly Knew Ya, Today You're Mine, and the single version of ThatSeventeen. So it got some unreleased stuff on here. Nice collection. Nicely packaged. Love, love, love. And my last one I'm going to show you. This is a fairly new one. This is called Janis Ian Strictly Solo, signed by her. This came out in 2014. These are all new recordings. Some newer songs, and some songs that she redid. There's Janis. And that's my Janis Ian collection. Like I said, I don't think I have everything. I've got a lot, though. There's only, I'm sure there's a couple things that I don't have. There is a collection, I can't even remember the title of it, but I think I might have to purchase it tonight. Of, what's it called? I can't remember. But anyway, that's Janis Ian. Again, if you only know her for Society's Child or At 17, there is so much more that she can give you musically. So many people have covered her songs. Like I said, the song Stars and the song Jessie are just two of them. She just has a wealth of music to share with you. So open up your ears and your heart and let Janis in. Hopefully I turned you on to some of her stuff. And, listen to Janis. That's all I got to say.